There was something about the NES and Famicom era of sequels that just made things weird. Zelda, Castlevania, Final Fantasy, even Mario. All of them had immediate sequels that took bizarre steps away from what made the first great. Fire Emblem was no exception, as the series' second entry, Fire Emblem Gaiden, was a huge departure from the first game and those that followed it, sporting mechanics that would never be seen again in the series. That is, until now. Surging onto the scene comes Fire Emblem Echoes: Shadows of Valentia, a remake of Gaiden that maintains all the gameplay quirks while also updating the presentation, story, and balance to make for a well-crafted experience. Keeping the spirit of the original Gaiden alive while also progressing Fire Emblem as a series, Shadows of Valentia shows how to do a remake right, offering its own unique brand of strategy goodness. Shadows of Valentia greatly expands upon Gaiden's original plot to deliver a beefed-up, well-executed narrative. The story centers around two main characters: Alm, a well-meaning village youth who is recruited into a resistance force when his kingdom is invaded, and Celica, a priestess living on a nearby isle, who journeys to discover why the blessings of the land's guardian deity, the Earth Dragon Milla, have gone. Players swap between the two with increasing regularity as the two tales mingle and eventually collide. While Echo's narrative isn't the most original in the series, it for the most part follows the Fire Emblem plot that we all know and love, it manages to impress regardless, in no small part due to strong writing and character. Both Alm and Celica manage to make an impression without growing too eccentric, and despite a few pacing issues here and there, particularly around the middle of the game, the plot was overall satisfying and enjoyable, a huge improvement over Fate's bumbling, scattered story. Alm and Celica aren't the only great characters either. Shadows of Valentia sports one of the finest casts in a Fire Emblem game, once again bolstered by the great writing. From the energetic May to placid Lucas to haughty Claire, the relatively small cast proved full of charm and wonderful personalities. Breathing even more life and personality into the characters with remarkable delivery, the quality voice acting adds even greater storytelling capabilities.
What is it like to chase cows every day? I wager they bite, the nasty creatures. And yet you aren't smothered in manure.
We also have nothing but praise for the game's new art style, courtesy of character designer Hidari. Invigorating the early 90s art style with vivid, unsaturated colors and varied designs, it feels like a perfect fit for the fantasy setting Fire Emblem thrives in. Fire Emblem Gaiden was without a doubt one of the more bizarre entries in the series in terms of mechanics. Magic costs HP, weapons are equipped like standard JRPGs, terrain massively boosts evade, and so on. While we weren't initially sure how many of these wrinkles would make it over in Echoes, we were stunned to see so much of the original incorporated, and even more surprised to see how a little bit of tweaking made the strategizing great. Echoes is very much a wholesale translation of the original Gaiden's framework. Battles take place on a grid system, offering up the usual FE combat with hit and miss rates, critical hits, and permadeath, hallmarks of the franchise. But there's also a world map, semi-random and grindable encounters, and lots of other little rubs that make it feel more like a JRPG and less like an SRPG, though it's still very much the latter. Something that was added, however, is Milla's Turnwheel, which has to be one of the best quality of life features the series has ever boasted. The Turnwheel allows you to turn back time to a previous turn a limited number of times, 3 per field battle or dungeon, more if you get COG items. It's completely optional, allowing you to correct small strategic mistakes or rectify RNG atrocities. We've all gotten critted on those 2% chances at some point. While it would likely need some rebalancing in other Fire Emblem games, we sincerely hope Milla's Turnwheel makes its return in the future, for its convenience has saved a lot of time and stress. Shadows of Valentia also offers up some nifty amiibo support. Anytime in battle, you can use up Alm's or Celica's turn and 10 HP to summon a Fire Emblem amiibo character. You can use the Alm or Celica amiibo to copy their stats to the figure, or any other Fire Emblem amiibo, Marth, Ike, Robin, Lucina, Roy, or the upcoming Corrin, to summon a ready-made Phantasm fighter. While useful, the mechanic isn't broken. as it both has a notable HP cost, lasts only a turn, and uses the action of what is likely to be one of your army's best characters. The Alm and Celica amiibo each also unlock a special dungeon. While a rather straightforward series of battles with some nasty stat escalation, you'll get some interesting story tidbits if you persist in them, which is a nice bonus. Shadows of Valentia is a remake done right. The aesthetics are charming, the characters are lovable, and everything that made the original stand out is retained. Rather than mess with the base too much, Intelligence Systems stayed wholly faithful to the core of Gaiden, and with a few minor exceptions, it paid off. It was a joy from start to finish, and we found ourselves satisfied by almost every aspect along the way.